Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tips and Tea with Linnea FNP. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Linnea Baker. I am a board certified family nurse practitioner, as well as a certified health and well-being coach. I am so grateful for each of you showing up and giving me some of your valuable time today. Guys, today I want to do a Love Your Guts to Health series. And this is really important because there is so much out there on gut health that we can apply to our own lives to help us and guide us on our own personal health journey. My mission is to positively impact your health and wellness through education and coaching to create generational health and a health span that equals your lifespan. It's really my passion, my purpose, and my calling. When we know better, we can do better. I want each of you to thrive. I want each of you to get to live the life you want to live without the limitations of poor health, low energy, or aches and pains that hold you back. So each evening this week, starting tonight, I will do a live Facebook presentation that will cover a different gut health topic each day. Today will be leaky gut, gut health, and the gut microbiome. Tomorrow, we will cover gut health and mental health, followed by the gut health and hormone connection, which includes metabolism. Then we will cover gut health and immunity, which will include inflammation. And lastly, gut health and the skin connection. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. I love this topic. We're going to talk leaky gut, gut health, and the gut microbiome. Over 2,000 years ago, Hippocrates stated that all disease begins in the gut. And we now know that Hippocrates was correct. The data is clear today that we need to fix our gut to improve our health. Over the past 2 decades, extensive research, to include the NIH Human Microbiome Project, which has been from 2007 to 2017, has unveiled the importance of gut health on our overall health and well-being. So what is gut health? Gut health is really focused on the health of the gut microbiome. We actually have several different microbiomes on and in our bodies. For instance, we have a skin microbiome. But for purposes of this presentation, guys, we're going to only focus on the gut microbiome. So when we think of our gut and digestion, most people think of their stomach. Actually, our digestive system isn't just our stomach, or even a simple tube for processing food from our mouth through our colon. It's actually a vibrant ecosystem teeming with trillions of microorganisms collectively known as the gut microbiome. I know when you hear that, do you get a little skeeved out? It took me a little bit to get over the whole microorganisms living in and on my body part, but they really are there to benefit us, okay? These microscopic inhabitants, they really do play a crucial role in health and our well-being, okay? Surprisingly, the majority of our gut microbiome is actually located in the large and small intestines. The gut microbiome's role is so significant to our overall health that many researchers and practitioners are actually considering the gut microbiome its own metabolic organ. So what is the gut microbiome? We hear this all the time, a lot of buzzwords on gut health, gut microbiome, but what does it actually mean? So the gut microbiome, within your gut, there's an entire universe of microbes interacting with each other and with our bodies. And we now realize through extensive research that the gut is actually the command center of our body. It plays a large role in our overall health and well-being. The gut microbiome is a collection of microbes that include bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. To further define how important the gut is in our overall health, the microbes in a healthy human adult outnumber human cells by 10 to 1. So 10 microbes to every 1 human cell in a healthy human adult. So there's more microbes on a healthy human than there are human cells. Tell me that doesn't just like explode your mind. I was like mind blown then. And then I was like, well, how do we look like humans if we have more microbes than human cells, right? So how is that possible? Well, it's because the microbial cells are 1/10 to 1/100th the size of a human cell. So in total weight, they may weigh up to 5 pounds of our adult body. So those of you who take 5-10 pounds off your driver's license weight, don't worry about it. It's microbes, okay? 5 pounds are microbes. That's a freebie. So the role of the gut microbiome. The gut microbiome, it's not just along for a ride. It's actively involved in processes like digestion, nutrient absorption, metabolism, and even immune function. Our gut is also considered our second brain and has a large impact on our overall mental well-being. The gut microbiome is like having a personal army of tiny helpers working tirelessly to keep us healthy. That is why one of the most important things you can do for your overall health and your overall well-being is to understand what gut health is and work towards improving your gut health. Once I realized what gut health was and what I needed to do to improve it, my entire health and overall wellness pivoted and absolutely leveled up, guys. Disruptions in the gut microbiome are linked to a wide range of health conditions, including obesity, diabetes, heart disease, autoimmune diseases, cancers, asthma, depression, anxiety, and even ADD and autism. So let's talk about what a leaky gut is. There's a lot of buzz about this too. So I got a lot of the leaky gut information from Dr. Mark Hyman's podcast, The Doctor's Pharmacy, Pharmacy. And it was a podcast he did on August 4th of 2023. So Dr. Hyman says the entire intestinal tract lining is only one cell layer between you and basically a sewer. That's a good visualization. He says on one side you have the food and stool, and on the other side you have the bloodstream and immune system. When those interact, that's when we have problems. So the goal is to get food filtered through the cells, not between the cells. And when the single cell lining is damaged, and Dr. Mark Hyman says it's like Legos being stuck together and then they come apart. He said that's when food and bacteria and other toxins can leak in and get exposed to your immune system, which triggers an immune response, which is how we end up with inflammation, okay? And Dr. Mark Hyman has been talking about gut health and these types of things for decades. For a very long time, people used to laugh at him when he first talked about these things. And now it's getting more and more research proving that he was right. And Dr. Mark Hyman is a functional medicine doctor that works now he works at Cleveland Clinic as well. So Dr. Hyman goes on to state, if you have inflammation, that's the driver of everything going wrong with you in today's society. So every chronic disease, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, dementia, obesity, autoimmune disease, allergies, autism, depression. He even says aging itself is inflammatory, and it's been coined inflammaging. And all of this is due to the health of the gut. So if you're like me, I always want to know how does the gut health and the health of your gut, how does that cause inflammation? Like, I'm a why person. So what happens is your gut microbiome health has an effect on the quality of the mucosal lining of your gut. There's a mucus lining of your gut. And so the quality of the gut health impacts the quality of that mucus lining. And when your gut microbiome is unhealthy, another word for that is it's in a state of dysbiosis. And dysbiosis just means you have an unhealthy gut. That leads to problems in that mucosal lining of the gut, in the integrity of it, which leads to the leaky gut because of inflammation, or leads to leaky gut, which then leads to inflammation, right? Those the food particles and toxins and things are getting through that wall because it's got holes in it. And Dr. Hyman actually says that you should think of the gut lining, and I love this analogy, like a coffee filter. It should let in the right stuff and keep out the bad. However, if you add holes to the coffee filter, then coffee grounds will come out in your coffee, right? And nobody likes to drink coffee grounds in their coffee. Have you ever done that? It's so gross. So the gut cell wall lining is made up of what are called tight junctions. And when these junctions, which we said are like Lego pieces, when they loosen up, bad stuff happens. So the medical term for that is an increased intestinal permeability, or we just call it leaky gut. So this leads to bacterial toxins, viruses, food proteins, all leaking through that gut lining. And that causes the immune system to really go haywire. And that leads to downstream problems. And what we may see is food sensitivities or inflammation that lead to obesity and diabetes, among other chronic illnesses. So, what contributes to poor gut health and a leaky gut? Right? We want to know, well, what causes it? Because then we know better, we can do better. What shapes the composition and diversity of our gut microbiome? It turns out several factors come into play, including diet, lifestyle, genetics, medications, and environmental exposure. The biggest impact comes from the food we eat, guys. And why is that? Because we ingest pounds of food daily that are in direct contact with our gut. Guys, think about this. Every time we eat, we are either feeding disease or we're fighting it. Every single food we ingest is either helping our health or hurting our health. So the standard American diet, which is acronym is the SAD diet, guys. That's what they call it. The standard American diet is called the SAD diet because it is destroying our gut health. Why is that? The standard American diet or SAD diet is high in refined sugar, gluten, dairy, and other inflammatory foods and ingredients, while also being low in fiber. The ultra-processed foods that are the majority of our diet in the United States are loaded with chemicals, preservatives, artificial dyes, and artificial flavoring, which they do help food last longer, but the chemicals are toxins to our gut and to our body. Our body, it treats it as a foreign substance, and as it gets through, it activates our immune system. Processed foods, sugar, artificial sweeteners, and alcohol all damage our gut health. Fiber is actually stripped away to give us refined sugar and refined flour and all the conveniences of modern food. So they strip the fiber, and then you may see that there's fiber in the food. Well, they're putting the fiber back in, and it's not the same as what we need from whole food fiber sources, guys. It doesn't help your gut and feed your gut what it needs, because fiber is considered a prebiotic to the good gut bacteria. So fiber actually helps you have a diverse and robust, healthy gut microbiome because it's actually feeding the good gut bugs, because fiber is what the good gut bugs eat. All right. 97% of Americans do not get the minimum intake of fiber to keep those bacteria thriving. So we are literally starving the good gut bugs and feeding the bad gut bugs. So a lot of you may say, well, what do the bad gut bugs eat? Sugar. In fact, the type of gut microbiome you have determines your taste buds, and it determines your taste buds and even the foods you crave. An unhealthy gut microbiome will crave sugar because that is what the bad gut bugs like, and that's what they live on. And it will also make healthy things not taste good to you. That's one way. It's definitely one of the ways we're being hijacked, okay? This leads to a chain reaction of gut dysbiosis, or an unhealthy gut. That's just a fancy term for unhealthy gut, which then causes the lining of the gut wall to break down. It gets those holes in it between those tight junctions. Remember, they're like Lego pieces. And as they break apart, those tight junctions separate. Those Lego pieces leave holes in the middle. What happens is the toxins and food particles go through those tight junction holes and cause the immune system to go haywire, leading to an inflammatory response. When this goes on too long, chronic inflammation occurs, and that's chronic inflammation lasts from several months to years, and you've now set the perfect storm to spark chronic disease. Chronic inflammation is actually the playground for chronic disease such as obesity, diabetes, heart disease, autoimmune disease, and cancers, to name a few. So what are other causes of poor gut health? Well, medications such as antibiotics, Advil or Motrin, which are basically the category NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, steroids, certain hormones, and acid-blocking drugs like Pepcid. Those all disrupt the gut microbiome and can lead to a leaky gut. And that comes from that Dr. Mark Hyman Leaky Gut podcast I cited before. And some of this comes from other research, but I took that specific information from that podcast. But obviously, guys, you need to follow with your healthcare provider who is prescribing your medication, because there are times when the benefit of the medication outweighs the risk, such as with an antibiotic that you need to fight a bacterial infection. I was on an NSAID and I was on an acid blocker. And once I healed my gut, I was able to come off both of those and feel better than I ever did while on them. And I worked with my healthcare provider prescribing them to come off of them. Also, environmental toxins such as pesticides, plastics, heavy metals all disrupt the gut lining. Poor sleep will cause an unhealthy gut. Chronic stress will cause an unhealthy gut, as well as a sedentary lifestyle will cause an unhealthy gut. So, how do you know if you have an unhealthy gut or leaky gut? If you eat the SAD diet or standard American diet, you have an unhealthy gut, leaky gut. Also, the following symptoms are indicators of an unhealthy gut or leaky gut: weight gain, difficulty losing weight, low energy, fatigue, sugar cravings and hunger all the time, difficulty sleeping, anxiety, depression, brain fog and poor concentration, chronic gut issues such as irritable bowel syndrome or IBS, constipation, diarrhea, bloating, inflammatory bowel disease, acid reflux and indigestion, skin issues such as eczema, acne, and psoriasis, arthritis, joint pain and muscle aches, headaches, fatigue, brain fog, trouble concentrating, hormonal issues such as hot flashes or PMS, autoimmune disease, prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, as well as thyroid disease, swelling in the hands and feet, and abnormal cholesterol or high blood pressure. So those can be signs or indicators of an unhealthy gut. Obviously, you're following with your healthcare provider, but part of following with your healthcare provider is also making sure you're doing the things with your lifestyle, which has a huge impact on your health, right? We talked about gut health, and that's what this whole presentation is about. So while you're following with your healthcare provider, I have 2 autoimmune diseases. I follow with 2 specialists for that. So I still follow Western medicine, but I have been able to manage the symptoms and improve my health with my lifestyle. And specifically, the most important part of it is my diet, my nutrition. And my specialists are blown away by how well I'm doing, because I've managed the symptoms with my lifestyle instead of medication. I still follow with them though, okay? So that's important to point out. So how do you improve your gut health? The good news is that we do have the power to positively influence our gut microbiome through lifestyle choices, particularly the diet. By incorporating a diverse array of fiber-rich foods, fermented foods, and prebiotics into our meals, we can promote a healthy and resilient gut microbiome. And guys, a plant-focused healthy diet in place of a SAD diet, the standard American diet, they saw changes in gut microbiome in 3 days, and I have personally experienced that. So from a nutrition standpoint, you want to eat a high fiber diet. Remember, your gut microbiome thrives on diversity. So you want to aim for a rainbow of fruits and vegetables on your plate and include probiotic-rich foods such as yogurt and kefir to support your gut health. You want to limit the intake of highly processed foods, highly refined sugar foods. You want to limit sweets, sugary drinks, boxed or packaged foods in drive-through. You want to start reading the ingredient labels so you know what is actually in the food you're buying. Just because it's in the health food aisle does not mean it's healthy, guys. Decrease the amount of sodas or sugary drinks such as Gatorade that you have daily as an initial goal. Great starting point. I used to drink Diet Dr. Pepper all day long. Such a bad habit. Haven't done that in almost 4 years, haven't had soda. And I don't miss it because I was able to improve my gut health, and so I don't want it anymore. In fact, it doesn't even taste good because remember I told you your taste buds change? Well, the things I used to crave and love, I no longer crave and love. And the things, the foods, fruits and veggies and things that I wasn't a big fan of, I now crave and love them. If I can do this, I promise you anyone can do this. You also want to remove the inflammatory foods that are in your diet, such as refined sugar, gluten, dairy, and soy. Get those out of your diet because those are really known to be big inflammatory foods for a lot of people. And I found from doing that dairy and gluten were my big ones. Also, the refined sugars will trigger me as well with my autoimmune. You want to exercise, even if it's just a 30-minute moderate paced walk a day. That has a lot of health benefits. Obviously, if you've had surgery or a joint orthopedic issue, or an injury, or you're followed for a chronic medical condition by a healthcare provider, get their guidance first on what you can do safely for your personal situation. But for overall generally healthy people, walking 30 minutes a day, even building up to walking 30 minutes a day, especially if you can be outdoors if the weather permits, is so good for you. Sleeping a minimum of 7 to 8 hours nightly, we have to think of sleep as a prescription. It is that important. It's when we rest and rejuvenate. And we, in the United States, I mean, I was the biggest one at fault for this for so long. We just cut the sleep all the time. We just take that out of the equation all the time. We need to focus on getting quality sleep, a minimum of 7 to 8 hours. And then managing our stress. We can't control the stress that's coming at us, but we can control how we react to it. So, meditation and prayer are some good ways to help deal with that. Yoga, there's lots of different stress management techniques you can look at to help you manage how you react to the stress coming at you, because life happens and we all have stress, right? So, in closing, I've been on my own gut health journey to improve my overall health for almost 4 years now, guys, and I'm thriving. And a health journey is not meant to be hard. It's not meant to be about calorie counting, and it's not meant to feel restrictive. Being on a health journey is not meant to feel like you're fighting willpower every day and feeling like a failure. You are not a failure. It's not your genetics. And no, there's nothing wrong with you. It's not your fault. I understand you. I've been where you are. I am on a holistic, healthy, and sustainable lifestyle. Heal is in health, die is in diet. If any of this speaks to you, I have a gut health routine I do every single day. This easy 3-step daily gut health bundle has not only changed my life, but so many other lives as well, guys. I've done the research for you. The gut health bundle, the gut health bundle I use is actually, it really is a game changer. It has absolutely changed my quality of life and my health. And I want this for each of you as well. And what I do, it's really simple and it's an easy button, because I'm not one to do something that takes a lot of prepping and work. When I started this, I was in a very, very busy pediatric clinic working 60 to 80 hours a week. I couldn't do anything that took a lot of time or was complicated. This was my easy button to get my health improved and get me to start feeling better. And it changed my life. So if this speaks to you guys, please leave an emoji in the comments. I'll reach out to you and we can do a free health and wellness consult. Guys, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for each of you who gave me some of your time today. And until tomorrow, be safe. I really hope that this brought you some value. Thanks, guys.